Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to another Organic Chemistry Reaction App devlog. This time around, I'm actually just going to play the game. You know, I've talked a lot about what the game is supposed to be, how some of the systems work, but I haven't ever shown the game. And the game is mostly completed, and it just needs more puzzles, essentially, to flesh things out. So it's a good idea to just sort of show it. And if you don't know how to play, maybe this will teach you how to play and what things are doing. So this is the main screen. I'm actually playing this on my h.io site, I guess. I don't know. So you can play this on h.io. I uploaded that earlier this week. Link is in the description. Just check it out there or download it on your Android device. Should be the same game, both basically. But yeah, what you're seeing is the main menu. And of course, your goal is to get into puzzles. So there's random puzzle and full puzzle, or you can select a puzzle. But before we do that, I'm going to go into the options menu, and there are a couple of things here. So first, you can set your rating. This is kind of like an intermediate ability tool that you have in case you feel like your rating is wrong, or you just want to try harder puzzles or try easier puzzles. You can just sort of set it. And you know, this is not like a competitive game. You're not playing against anyone. So it doesn't matter if you set your rating to 999999999, right? There's not even a leaderboard. You're not flexing on anyone. So who cares? If you want to set your rating, you set your rating. Go ahead. The other thing is arrow offset. So this is actually something that I found when I was drawing arrows with a touch screen. My thumb, or not my thumb, my finger that I was using to draw the arrow would cover up the arrow, and I couldn't see where I was actually pointing it to. So I offset it by 100, so it appears 100 pixels above where I'm actually touching, so that I can just see it above the above my finger. So you can adjust that just in case you have a bigger screen or a smaller screen, or you have different size fingers, and then 0 for a mouse because the mouse isn't going to cover up the arrow. So you can set that. Right now it's at 0 because I'm playing on my desktop. So those are the options. And then, yeah, so you're intended basically to play random puzzles. But because I don't have a good rating system fleshed out yet, and there's not a lot of variety of puzzles yet, some people may opt to go for full random, which will increase the variability of the puzzles that they're getting. So they'll get a wider variety. And until I have 10,000 puzzles, maybe the full random is required. And then of course, if you know what puzzle you want to do, you can select it, and you just sort of type in the number there and then click select puzzle. If you don't have anything typed, nothing happens. But let's just play random puzzles for now. So I have my rating set to 1000, which is the default, so I should get a puzzle that's close to 1000. Let's see. I don't know actually what the rating for this puzzle is. It won't tell you. But yeah, so you're just presented with some molecules, and you have to figure out how they react. So in this case, the alkene double bond is going to hit one of the bromines, and then the bromine is going to hit one of the two carbons, and this other bromine is then going to leave, and then you end up with this bromonium cation. And now you're sort of left with a choice: do I attack with the bromine or do I attack with the water? The answer is the water. And if you watch my last devlog, I kind of described two different answers, right? So the water could hit either here or here. They're the same, right? It doesn't matter which one you choose. But if you choose this one, then this bond has to go here, right? And this bond is a valid answer if the oxygen hits here. But, so I had to program it so that both would be right until you did one answer. So let's just do the bottom one. Right? So now the oxygen, even though it could go here, it can no longer go there because this bond is the one that's breaking, I've decided. So we'll go there, and then of course this is protonated, so I have to deprotonate it to get to, oh, dang it. So I got this puzzle wrong because my mouse slipped. Yeah, and so because I got it wrong, I could have gone straight to the next puzzle, but I wanted to complete the puzzle. So now the puzzle is done. And you can go back and review your steps to see what it actually looks like. But yeah, now we're going to a different one. So this one, this is a base, and this is an acid. So this is going to take a proton from here. And now, pretty sure this is an elimination reaction. The question is, which one is eliminating? And I think it's this one, because this is a tertiary. This leaves. I know this leaves. This is a tertiary carbon. So that's going to leave, and that's going to go there, and then you make this double bond, and then you're done. So then you go next puzzle. So this is a rearrangement puzzle. There's a positive charge on this primary carbon, and so what's going to happen is a proton's going to transfer so that you get the positive charge on a secondary carbon, which is more stable than on a primary carbon. Here, this is kind of a weird puzzle, but it's in the textbook, so you can solve it. The benzene can be protonated by this deuterium, apparently. Kind of a weird reaction. I don't know. And then you've got a deuterium there, and then this guy is going to act as... It's not going to act as a base? What? Oh, this one? Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because you got to form the bond this way. Yeah, it's not going to take that proton. My bad. And then that goes there, and then now you have a deuterated benzene. Okay, now I got this same puzzle, and so this is kind of the problem with not having enough puzzles, is you'll end up getting the same puzzles if you're working at the same difficulty level, right? So here, double bond gets protonated, and then the chloride adds to the negative or the positive charge, and then the other bond gets protonated. I realize that there actually could be two answers to that one. Maybe I should say excess HCl in like the conditions. Anyway, so this guy, just the chlorine gets kicked out and you get an ester. And here so yeah, this is how the game is played, right? And the goal is to rapid fire mechanism questions at you. And as you can see, that's what's happening, and you get tested. Are you serious? Oh, geez. This leaves? Is that the answer? I don't know about that. So here, this guy's going to get deprotonated. There, and then he's going to take a deuterium. And he goes there. Great. But yeah, you get exposed to a lot. Am I doing the same puzzle again? Alas. I tried to program it so you wouldn't get the same puzzle twice in a row, but that programming seems to have failed. It will sort of sort itself out when you have enough puzzles, but yeah, right now there's not enough puzzles. And this puzzle looks similar to the last one, but technically it's different, and it's good for people to get a wide, variety. Oh, this is the same puzzle now, though. A wide variety of, the same reaction. You don't just want one example of a specific reaction. You want multiple, just so people can get used to seeing the reaction happen in different situations. But having to flip through a textbook to find these, or having to go online and having this, having to figure out, did I draw the arrow right? Did I draw it wrong? It takes a lot of time, and it's hard for people to get motivated to do that. And if you have a textbook, I don't know, you're flipping around, it's heavy. This is way faster, and it gives you that instant feedback. You know you got it right. You know you got it right because there's this giant green check mark that's in your face. And if you got it wrong, you know you got it wrong because there's a red X that shows up. And so I hope this is valuable as a practicing tool, not a teaching tool, right? I said this is not for teaching. This game doesn't explain any of these reactions. Either you get it right or you get it wrong. And you're supposed to learn in class or by reading your textbook or wherever, right? This is where you practice. And I think this is the best way to get practice. On mechanisms specifically, of course, there are other aspects of organic chemistry that are important to learn. You need to learn about nomenclature, the properties of certain things, right? So like, you might say this is going to get protonated because you know the mechanism, but you should know why it's getting protonated and why certain regiochemistries happen, right? Like here, there's nothing that says that this has to be the positive charge. The game does that for you, but you should theoretically understand why this carbon gets the positive charge instead of this carbon. Answer is because it's a secondary carbon, so it's more stable, right? And that's a different aspect of organic chemistry that the mechanism game is not going to show you. So you have to learn other parts of organic chemistry. This isn't the whole deal, but this is a big part of it, and it does play into a lot of the theory that you learn, the other aspects of it. So now we're starting to get into a little bit harder puzzles. This one's interesting because it says the conditions are 25 degrees. There's a different version of this puzzle where the conditions are, I think it's 170 degrees or 175, something like that. And then it does something different at higher temperature. The conditions have disappeared. I don't like that. That needs to be fixed. This goes there. And then this guy takes a proton. But yeah, that's basically the game, and you just sort of keep doing this until you want to stop. And you can go full random, and then you start getting a little bit weird. What's this one called? This is called the Simmons-Smith reaction. First, this zinc inserts itself in between those two, or in between a carbon and the iodine, and then this guy hits the carbon, this bond hits another carbon, and then this iodine just kind of leaves, or it forms the zinc iodide, and you get a cyclopropyl. Simmons-Smith, right? And now you go next puzzle. And you sort of keep going. That's the game. That's the game. Now you understand how it works. Very simple, and the goal is to just rapid fire chemistry puzzles at you, and that was very rapid fire. I think the amount of mechanism puzzles I solved there is probably more than anybody has solved ever. I don't know. that's a bold statement, but that's how it is. Yeah, check the game out. Hopefully you enjoy it. See you next time.